the conceptualization of this component of the symposium is that after hearing these international legacies, which I think are a very important part of what Rwanda means today, how has the world changed because of Rwanda, there is a possibility or a risk of losing sight of the other legacy of Rwanda, which is of the genocide, that is, which is a very personal and I guess at a national level, but reflects the sort of personal experience, the trauma that people in that nation experienced and perhaps are still experiencing today. And so for that reason, I wanted to have the second panel to be an occasion to discuss the legacies of the genocide for Rwanda itself, primarily from the voices of Rwandans. And so I will let Joel Zaki introduce the panel in himself. He's going to be the moderator. But before we do so, and I know this is a little unusual for an academic conference, or semi-academic conference anyways, is I wanted to I thought it would be appropriate to have a moment to sort of center ourselves, to center the discussion, to make this transition from a panel on international affairs to a panel on human responses to intense trauma. So I invited Jan Holton from the Divinity School, Associate Professor of Pastoral Care and Counseling at the Divinity School, to commence this component of the panel with a prayer. I will sort of bear my own background here. I'm not particularly religious myself. However, I recognize and appreciate the importance of, in some way or another, taking a moment to sort of situate oneself when talking about issues like this. So without further ado, I'd like to invite Jan to come up here and offer some words that may lead us to reflect a bit. And then from Jan, we will turn over one little bit of further ado to Joel Zaki, who is, you can read his bio in the handout, but he's the Special Advisor in Genocide Education at the Greenberg Center of the University of Hartford, and who has been working over the past 18 months or longer than 18 months, with the Ministry of Education in Rwanda on a project that is redesigning how the Rwandan education system works and how the genocide is dealt with within Rwanda as well. So first Jan, then Joe. Thank you.
So I invite you, if you are comfortable to do so, to pray with me. If you prefer to receive these words as words of meditation, please do that as well. O God of mercy, we gather today in a season of mourning and remembrance to honor the victims of the genocide in Rwanda 20 years ago, a terrible moment in the arc of human history, when the earth was soaked with unspeakable violence. The heavens gasped as hand and weapon were raised against sister and brother in a flurry of hatred and fear. Your divine heart, O God, was wrenched in two by the brutal murder and suffering of so many of your children. Today, most of us remember the death inflicted as a number beyond comprehension. But you remember each beloved soul by name as they breathe their last. In this moment of silence, we honor those who died, and we remember their story. In your mercy, hear our prayer. God of courage, we give you thanks and ask your blessing on the survivors who so courageously continue to tell their story, especially those whose voices speak today. May we show a similar courage to hear these stories of unbearable suffering, so that we too might help carry the mantle forward as ones who vow to remember. May it be their resilience that compels our memory and spurs us into action. In this moment of silence, we honor the survivors, especially those who continue to suffer, and we remember their story. In your mercy, hear our prayers. O God of justice, too often we have chosen to ignore that we are citizens in a global community, brothers and sisters in our humanity. Bind us, O God, with your justice so as not to forget our moral obligation to care for the other, whether near or far. Never, never let us stand idle, either in the face of fear and hatred, nor the atrocities to which they give birth. In this moment, we consider our promise to be partners in vigilance and action to ward against such atrocities. God of hope, though the journey has been long, your love helps heal a land that once ran red with blood. Your grace allows song to again claim the skies that were once filled with cries of suffering. You have painted a future for a people once lost to its past. Through you, they have risen to claim reconciliation over revenge, peace over violence, healing over harm, love over hatred. Today we remember them. Amen.
Welcome to the panel discussion on the legacies of genocide in Rwanda. Today, Rwanda finds itself in a crossroads, moving from the humanitarian assistance phase associated with the 1994 genocide into one of sustainable development. Since 1994, the government of Rwanda has stabilized the political situation whilst putting the economy back on track with considerable assistance from development partners. However, the challenges remain daunting. This afternoon, with this esteemed panel, we will be discussing the legacies of genocide in Rwanda. I'd like to introduce the panel. First, we have the second counselor from the Rwandan Embassy to the United States, Yvette Rugasguhunga. The second is Mr. Steve Kraus, filmmaker. And third is Kansile Nishimwe, who is a survivor and also an author. I'd like to welcome you. After the opening statements by our panelists, we'll delve into the subject of the legacies of genocide in Rwanda. Who would like to go first?